Shri Krishna is describing the ideal qualities of a devotee to Arjun. So in verse 15 he says, "He from whom the world does not shrink, and who does not shrink from the world, who is free from joy and envy, fear and agitation, he too is dear to me." Shri Krishna says that a devotee is one from whom people do not get frustrated, and one who does not get frustrated by people. Both of these things are very necessary. People should not get frustrated by him, and he himself should not get frustrated by people. The devotee should be free from joy, anger, fear and agitation. Shri Krishna says that a devotee with all of these qualities is very dear to him. First, people should not be frustrated by him. A devotee's thoughts are very great, but when he begins to talk about what he experiences are like, then it is beyond the reach of a common person. The common person may therefore get agitated that, fair enough, you're saying all of this, but we do not understand any of this. If there is a child studying in its first year at school, and if you sit with this child with your MA book and begin talking to the child in this way, then what will the poor child be able to do? The child will listen, but the child will not be able to understand anything and will get frustrated. Therefore, it can also happen that some people make very big talks and with great wisdom and knowledge, and in reality, they've got a lot of knowledge and they're filled with wisdom, but if we're sitting there listening to us, then we don't even understand anything. One time there were 2 or 3 people who met me and asked them where they came from. They said that they came from the discourse of a great personality. They gave me his name, which I don't want to repeat here. They said it was a discourse and he was a very big thinker. He is this, he is that. I said, really? This is very good. What was the discourse like? They said it was a solid discourse. Discourses are now solid. I asked them what he said, and they said, oh, we do not remember, but the discourse was solid. Right? If they did not understand, then how can the discourse be solid? They did not even understand. The person may have knowledge, and we bow down to that knowledge. They may really know these people who did not even understand anything. A devotee is one who can describe what is experienced so simply and so straightforwardly. Gandhiji had said about Gujarati literature that literature should be such that even the Kaushiyas can understand the language. Anyone heard of what Kaushiyas are? Kaushiyas are certain types of labourers on farms. A Kaushiya has only one job. They tie a bucket around a bull because during those times there were no motors to get out the well. They therefore tie a bucket around the bull, they go inside the well. Guruji has seen this in villages, that as the bull comes near the well, then the bucket goes inside the well and it gets pulled up and the water is filled from the well. Then the bull goes far and the bucket gets pulled out through a pulley. The bull keeps going further and the bucket comes up and tilts and the water drops into a bigger bucket. This water is used on the farm. This is all that the person has to do. There's hardly a 20 meter or 30 meter area where if the bull walks in one direction, then the bucket comes outside, and if the bull goes towards the well, then the bucket goes inside. And when the bull goes far away, then the bucket comes back up, tilts and pours water into the bigger bucket. This is all he does. Think about how much this person who is intelligent will get frustrated trying to speak to this person. Throughout the whole day of 8 to 10 hours, he just keeps going up and down for 30 meters. Gandhiji said that literature should be such that even this person is able to understand. Ruskin had a book that appealed to Gandhiji very much, and this book was called Unto the Last. This book says that if there is any person trying to improve society, such as a politician, a religious person, or any such person, then the thoughts that they should give should reach society unto the last. And not only that, but when these thoughts are being put into orchestration and when these thoughts are being put into practice, then at that time it should be unto the last. If a decision is made in London where a few plans are set out, then those plans do not come into effect just because of the decision to put them in effect. No, until the effect of them reach the very last person in society, do those plans have not come into effect. This should happen unto the last. In the same way, religion and spirituality is not the privilege of a chosen few. Each and every person should feel that they are his. What has happened in the last few decades is that religion has become the meeting of just a few people. They've said that other people cannot do it. Those people who have understood a little about religion have told others to keep a distance, saying that it is not for you and you go far away. And there have become so many lines of our people, our people, our people, that each and every person in every section of society considers people outside their line to be an outsider. There are so many such lines drawn in society. Religion cannot possibly ever have any limits. Religion is something that takes you into the sky of freedom. You can create wars on the ground, but how can you create wars on the sky? The people had begun drawing clouds of lines in the sky of religion, and it is shrinking so much that the common man is getting frustrated and does not even know what this person is trying to say. People have made it difficult to understand. This is not devotion, and this is not dharma. That is why Shri Krishna makes it very clear in the Gita that a devotee is one from whom people do not get frustrated. This means that the person has no limits to his thoughts. First of all, there is not an age limit. Just look how we get frustrated. First of all, we get frustrated because of age. The intellectual power is different according to age. The understanding power is different according to age. If you say something to a 5-year-old child, a 10-year-old child, a 15-year-old child, a 25-year-old person, a 35-year-old person, a 45-year-old person, and a 55-year-old person, then the thing that the 5-year-old child may not be liked by the person aged 45. Or something that the 45-year-old person likes may not be liked by the person aged 25. What someone aged 45 is listening to with interest, the 25-year-old may get frustrated by it. Or what someone of the age of 25 is listening with interest, a 65-year-old grandmother may not like it. There is this difference. But a devotee is such that people of every age can relate to him. Therefore, the differences that come as a result of age should not apply. Another difference that happens is between educated and uneducated people. A very broad division is created between educated people and uneducated people. And there are many internal divisions within the two. For example, how much educated is he? If a person has attained metric qualifications, then it's very highly regarded. It was very highly regarded in olden times. Now even graduates haven't got a class. Therefore it is a relative thing, and as time changes, the relativity will keep changing. But the difference between an educated person and an uneducated person means that each and every person feels that one of these groups is their own. Then there is a difference between females and males. Women love talking about some things very much, whereas males do not like talking about so many things. It's called ladies' talk, and sometimes it's men to men. We've created these divisions, and they may be fine for everyday matters, but in spiritual matters, there should not be a difference between the two. There should be no differences of age, no differences of the educated and uneducated, and no difference of males and females. There should be no differences of any of these types. And there is one reason for this. Each and every individual is the same in the eyes of the Supreme Soul, and the same substance of God resides in each and every individual. And that is why the devotee feels that each and every person's circumstances are his own. They all feel appealing. A true wise person and a true devotee is one whom when you listen to them speak, then sometime or the other you feel as if, oh, they're talking about our lives, or they're talking about our interests. When this touches you, then consider that this is a true devotee, and this person is speaking from the experiences of his own life. This is when it touches you. Otherwise, what happens many times is that if you're standing at the riverside and you keep looking at the river, then it's fine, but you think, so what about me? This is how it feels. A person only does not get frustrated when it is about something of his. When the person himself gets placed far away, then the person gets frustrated. If people have gone out to get their son married, then do they get frustrated? No. In fact, they look at the smallest of all details because it is my event. Because it is my event, there is not even a question of getting frustrated. But if we've gone to someone else's wedding and reception and sit at the reception for half an hour, then even then we get frustrated. We think that fine, we have gone on stage, but what do we do now? This is because you are not a part and parcel of the whole event. In the same way, if what a devotee is saying has come from his own experiences, then the person in front of him feels it is a part and parcel of my experience and my life. If this is the case, then one does not get frustrated. One feels a bit of them and a sense of belonging in what the devotee is saying. On the other side, Shri Krishna says that the world never shrinks for a devotee. The devotee himself does not become frustrated with other people. This is a very necessary thing as well. We can understand that other people should not become frustrated from what the devotee is talking about, because people are on one level and he is on a higher level, and smaller people in the lower level get to understand something, and that is why the interest is maintained. But do we get frustrated from these people? Why does the devotee need them? This is because the devotee has attained what he had to attain. There was always one thing that was pestering, that there was Lord Mahavir, Lord Buddha, and so on, who have attained what they had to attain. Did they want wealth? No, they left wealth. They attained what they had to attain. Lord Mahavir became Kevaling, meaning pure with wisdom. Siddhartha became Buddha, meaning the enlightened one. They attained what they had to attain. So why did they come back to society thereafter? What is the reason why they gave discourses and why they gave wisdom? What was the reason for this? They did not want anything. And do they not get frustrated? On what level do they travel everywhere? I often say during my discourses that a wise person is himself on one level, and the people around him gathering together and asking questions, these people to whom he's preaching have interest in something else. People go to a wise person, a devotee, or a knowledgeable person and ask, can we eat aubergines on the day of Ekadas, which is the 11th day of the lunar fortnight? The wise person is at such a high level and has nothing to do with aubergines on the day of Ekadas, but some people are only interested in talking about this. I've seen such people. For 1.5 to 2 hours, they speak about whether you can eat aubergines on the day of Ekadas. And after speaking for 2 hours, they make the decision that on the day of Ekadas, you cannot eat aubergine curry, but you can eat sweets of aubergines. And they go and ask this to a great saint, a wise person, a knowledgeable person, or a devotee, and he too is beyond it. After hearing this, does one not get frustrated? No. First of all, he takes pride in the question and says, you've asked a very good question of whether you can eat a sweet on the day of Ekadas. And slowly, he begins to talk about why we have Ekadas and why we fast. He explains spirituality, and if he got frustrated from people, then he will not be able to say what he wants. If ordinary people do not get frustrated, then it is a greatness of the people. But if a wise person does not get frustrated by ordinary people, then this is the true greatness of a wise person. We can understand if ordinary people do not get frustrated, but a wise person should not get frustrated by ordinary people, and not only that, but the wise person should come to the level of ordinary people. That is why our scriptures say, Na vichitra vesham kuriyat. A true wise person and a true devotee never wears an odd guise. A true wise person and a true devotee does not create walls between himself and other people. Everybody feels as if he is one of their own. On the other side, walls may be created, and this often happens that, how can we meet this person? And how can we go and talk to this person? A true devotee breaks those walls and creates an atmosphere of intimacy. A true devotee says, you are mine. The person opposite may have an inferiority complex or limits, thinking that how can we go there or how can we speak? This is what the person opposite thinks, but a true devotee sees that this person's feelings are true, but because of this feeling of egotism or because of somebody else, this person is keeping a distance. The devotee himself breaks this distance. Other people feel like his own. Pujya Dongreji Maharaj was once asked, Pujya Bapuji, why do you not give answers to too many questions? He himself was a very reserved person and did not live much of a public life. He would never talk to anyone and would do nothing. I've even heard to the extent that when people write to him, then despite this, Pujya Dongreji Maharaj would never open these letters. Letters would come in the post and the cover would just remain closed. He would place the letter into the closed cover besides his Ishtadev that he was praying to, and he would tear it while it was closed. He never opened letters to read them. I know that the people that were close to him and with him most of the time, and they used to ask him, Father, read what is in these letters. You're tearing them apart without opening the covers. Pujya Dongraji Maharaj said, I do not want to read them. This is because 8 out of these 10 letters will be letters to praise me. I do not want to hear this talk about me, and maybe in 2 or so letters, someone may have written that I should talk about a certain topic, or I should say something about a certain topic. Who am I to talk about them? My Lalan calls me and I speak. Should I speak about what someone tells me about? How can this work? I do not want to read this. Many times we think about what kind of behavior this, but those who will understand him will realize. If I say it another way, then it is very difficult. People love getting letters like this, and people enjoy reading these letters, but he closed himself up on everything. He did not even have any curiosity. How high a level must he have been? An ordinary person will think, I want to see what they have written, but not Pujya Dongraji Maharaj. One time Pujya Dongraji Maharaj was asked, what is the identification of a true saint or a true devotee? How can one recognize these? Pujya Dongraji Maharaj gave a very nice answer, that the person about who you do not know anything about the family, about the education, about their life and so on, if you don't know anything about any of these, but when you go and sit to listen to the discourse and you feel an intimacy with them, you feel as if you're their own person, and if you begin to get good vibrations for them, then consider that they're a true saint and a true devotee. If you think that they're one of your own, then this is the quality of a devotee. People do not get frustrated by him, and he does not get frustrated by people. Shri Krishna then says that a true devotee is one who is free from joy, anger, fear and agitation. A devotee is free from joy. What does it mean to be free from joy? Does it mean that one should sit there with a frown? No. Khalil Gibran says that keep me away from the religion that does not teach me to laugh. What is the use of that religion that does not give us happiness? Then, what it says here, that one should be free from joy, then the meaning of being free from joy is that the devotee does not get delighted for the bodily reasons for which an ordinary person gets delighted. The whole support of the devotee's joy is different. Great saints have given us a very nice step to show what devotees get joy from. The reason why the devotee does not become joyous is because the devotee is constantly in a state of joy. When we say I've become joyous, then this means that I was in sorrows, and that is why I've become joyous. If tears were in one's eyes, then one laughs, then this means that one did not laugh before. But if one is constantly joyous, then they can say that they laughed or that they became joyous? No, they're joyous. The opposite state of joy does not even come to the devotee. The devotee is always joyous. And why is the devotee joyous? It is not because of ordinary reasons, but because of divine reasons. What are these? First of all, which every person has, the first joy is that the devotee has the joy that I was born. This is such a big event of joy that I was born. The second joy is that I have become a human being, or I have been born as a human being. Jantunam nara janma durlabtaram. A human birth is very difficult to obtain. This is because you could have been born as an insect, a bird, an animal or anything, but he became born as a human being. This is joy. The reason why it is a joy is that I must have gathered so many karmas from a birth that the Supreme Soul has given me such a birth. After traveling through 8.399999 million bodies, I have been given this human body by the Lord. I have been born as a human being. This is the joy that a devotee has. The third joy is that, Lord, I have been born as one who you like. This is the joy that a devotee has. The devotee thinks that, Lord, you like me. I have found out that you like me. How? Lord, the way in which you're calling me towards you, or Lord, the way in which I'm getting bliss in hearing talks about you, I have been born in the way that you like me. In the Pushti Marg, there is the Shiksha Patri Granth, the Gospel of Divine Life, which is written by Sri Haran Hariraj. Haran Hariraj says something very nice in it, that God is showering His grace on the individual. The grace of God, the Lord is showering on each and every individual, but how can we know that the grace of the Supreme Soul is showering on us? How can we realize that God likes me? Karanai has written very nicely that wherever we get bliss from hearing on talks about the Lord, then consider that the grace of the Lord is beginning to shower on you. We should like listening to the talks about one whom we have a relation towards and one who we have feelings towards. You see this in everyday life, that if you have a relation towards someone, then you enjoy listening about them. But if we do not have a relation towards someone, then we do not enjoy listening about them. People say that do not talk about him, talk about something else. Why? They do not like him, and that is why they don't want to listen about him. Because we like listening to talks about the Lord, this means that we must have been made in the way that the Lord likes. And the devotee has joy because of this. A devotee has joy because he is born, joy because he is born as a human being, and joy because he is born in the way that God likes. The fourth reason why a devotee has joy is that I have become yours, Lord. If you have been born in the way that God likes, then this means that an attraction has arisen on someone's part, but now one has begun to do God's work. This is the joy of devotees, that I have become yours, Lord. The devotee gets delight because of this. The devotee thinks that, Lord, it is one thing to sit there listening to what you say, and the joy of being of use to you is another thing altogether. This is a joy that Sachin feels. Lord, I am doing something for you. Lord, I'm doing it without a feeling of desire. I have become yours, Lord. If we have done something in our life for God without the feeling of desire, then you will know the joy of what it's like to be God's. Think about whether there is something like that in your life, that, Lord, I did this for you. I have become yours, Lord. And there is a joy that is even higher level than this, and this is that, Lord, you have become mine. Look, Lord, when I began doing your work, I began to become yours. In that way, slowly and slowly, I began to realize, Lord, that you are also becoming mine. Whenever I needed you, Lord, you have immediately come and stood there. Many times I did not even know at the beginning how this work of mine got completed, how we completed 100 Bhagavad Gita class, but slowly and slowly I realized the truth that, Lord, this is all your grace. You have become mine. A devotee gets joy because he was born, joy because he was born as a human being, joy because he was born in the way that God likes, joy that he has become God's, joy that God became his, and then the highest state of all comes when the devotee feels that, Lord, you and I will always be one, and we were never different. This is the highest joy of all. This is because the moment when the devotee becomes the Lord's, and the Lord becomes the devotee's, then the devotee understands that we were never different. It was only an illusion on my part that we were different, and Lord, the moment when I got that wisdom that you and I are one, then as the saints of Maharashtra say, Tuja maza nahi beda kela sahaj vinod. There is no difference between you and me. Lord, this is just your Leela, your divine play. It says in the Brahma Sutra that Loka Vatu Leela Kevalyam. The creation of the world has no motive except an impulse of playing a game. That is why the Lord has created the world. If two brothers wish to play a game, then they go in opposing teams. Because they go in opposing teams, does this mean that they become enemies? No, this is just a game. If there are two teams in cricket, then all the players go into opposing teams. And when they go into opposing teams, and if a bowler takes a wicket of a batsman, then the batsman gets bliss from this. They did not create an argument that you're my friend and therefore you should send me simple balls so I can keep hitting sixes. They cannot do this. One can also take a wicket. In the same way, the devotee thinks that, Lord, I felt that there was a distance between us, but we are one, Lord. Tujhe maza nahi beda kela sahaj vinod. There is no difference between you and me. Lord, this is just your Leela, your divine play. The devotee is free from joy. And this state comes that just like we get ways of joy, this is not in the devotee's life because the devotee is constantly in a state of joy. After the devotee becomes free from joy, then the devotee becomes free from amarsh, as Shri Krishna says in this verse. Srimad Adi Shankaracharya defines amarsh in simple language as envy, or one whose heart becomes vexatious from seeing another's rise or another's success. This characteristic is never in a devotee. A devotee never has this fault. The devotee thinks that the other is happy, so let him be. If the other advances, then let him advance. I will make my own efforts to advance, but I will not advance by making him fall lower. He is nice in his own way. Therefore, a devotee never has amarsh, envy. The devotee is free from amarsh, envy. Shri Krishna also says that the devotee is free from fear. How can there ever be something like fear in the life of a devotee? If a small child is walking down the road, holding its mother's finger, then can the small child ever fear traffic? No, because the child feels that my hand is holding my mother's finger and my mother will look after everything. What could I possibly have fear of? In the same way, one who has handed everything to the Supreme Soul never has any fear. Shri Krishna also says that a devotee is free from agitation. A devotee does not even have worries, and the devotee never gets agitated. The meaning of having no worries is that the devotee does not worry about the things that ordinary people worry about. Even a devotee's worries are divine. Being agitated is when one has an instability in their heart. Being agitated is not just worry, it is when one experiences some kind of instability. When Samat Swami Ramdas was 22 or 25 years of age, he was a total celibate. One day in the middle of the night, he woke up in the middle of the night and began crying. This saint of the age of 22 or 25 had woken up in the middle of the night and was crying. His mother was there and saw that her child was crying. At the beginning, even his mother had hesitancy. If there was a small child aged 2, 4 or 5 and it is crying, then the mother goes and takes the child into her lap and looks after the child. But this was a 25-year-old crying whose wisdom was such a high level that he was King Shivaji's guru. Such was Samat Swami Ramdas. Shivaji is known as one of the greatest Hindu kings of the last 1,000 years, and Samat Swami Ramdas was Shivaji's guru. How could this mother go there? His mother, who was living an ordinary sansar material life, was filled with emotions just like any other mother. The mother thought that, why is my child crying? No matter what, he is my son. Why is he crying? The mother began thinking in her own way. The situation was such that on the day in the house, in the town, one child was given a janoi, a sacred thread. The father of the child who was given a janoi used to study with Swami Ramdas, and they were both on the same age. The child was given a janoi, a sacred thread. The mother thought that such an event is taking place in the town, and therefore perhaps my Ramdas is thinking, what a mistake I made that I did not study. If I got married, then I would also be able to have a child. And when that child was given a janoi, then the entire town went to his house, ate there and did everything there. In the same way, what if all of this happened to me? The mother thought that my child must be thinking all of this. The mother thought about all of this. Because Ramdas was crying, his mother went and stroked her son's hair with a hand saying, son, do not cry. If you wish to get married, then even at this age of yours, I'll find you a girl. Our house is so big and you are very good. Do not worry. If you also wish to give your child a janoi, sacred thread, then all of this will happen at your place. Do not worry, do not cry. When his mother said, do not worry, Samat Swami Ramdas understood that, oh no, my mother is interpreting this meaning of the reason why I'm crying. Samat Swami Ramdas told his own mother that, I chinta karto vishvachi. Mother, I'm not worrying about myself, but about the world. Samat Swami Ramdas told his mother that, mother, I'm not worrying about myself. Why did I not get married, or why no child was born in my house? It is not that, mother. Mother, the reason why I'm not crying is that I'm crying about the world. I'm worried about the way in which the world is living its life. The world has an attitude of eating, drinking and be merry. How can the world only think of these things? God has given us such a nice life, and people waste their lives on such pointless matters. Mother, I'm worried about them. Saints have agitations, but they have agitations of a divine level. Shri Krishna says that a devotee who has the qualities described in this verse is very dear to him. Let's go on to the next verse.